Say, man, you see my crab cakes? Till I'm all alone. If you see my crab cakes, tell her things went wrong. Don't call on the phone and bring a black draw home. A little tartar too. Come on, little girl, tell me what you want to do. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. So come on, baby, let's get Louisiana down. If you see my crab cake, have you seen my crab cake? If you see my crab cake, tell I'm all alone. Tell her I still love her, and when she come back home.
Now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you listen, I hope you're doing all right. Don't forget the show is being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. You know, if you need a limo someplace in the U.S. of A., you need to call my girl, Cat, 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service is the official limo service of this year's BillyCBoxing Hall of Fame induction weekend gathering ceremony, November 16th, 17th, and 18th. Get your tickets now. We're anticipating a banner year. As a matter of fact, Huron will get the brochure updated as soon as I get him the information that he seeks. So I'll be getting on that. Make your plans now. And if you do need a limo and you are someplace in the USA, make your plans to give my girl Kat a call. Just remember, she's my girl. Love that girl. 7496 Cats Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. Show is also being brought to you in part by my lawyers. That's right. If you need a lawyer, if you need someone to knock out your legal problem, then you need to call Campanera and Tomkovich, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Hey, man, they keep me out of trouble. They'll keep you out of trouble. And they handle all that kind of stuff, man. Paperwork, you know that. Paper law, that what do they call that? Paper law. I don't know, man. Real estate, contracts drawn up, wills, matrimonial disputes, maybe child custody. I don't know, man. Any kind of attorney needs you need, give them a call, 845-221-4099. Tell them Billy C sent you. And then I said I'm going to pick up the consultation fee for you. So make sure you give them a call now, 845-221-4099. Hey, by the way, if you like, good-looking women in the office, that's where you got to go. So even if you don't have a law thing, go to the office, swing by, check out the chickies. 845-221-4099. And, of course, my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls, give them a call if you're looking for a good place to hang out. Fantastic people, food specials all the time, drink specials all the time, and now the outdoor facility, the outdoor section of the facility is open. They got horseshoe pits, they got bocce ball, they got full-blown, beach volleyball setup. They got an outdoor area for bonfires. They have benches, they have tents, they have bars outside. It's a great place to hang out. The Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Give them a call, 518-792-4869. That's 792-4869. And listen, if you like wings, go over there and try their wings. Their hot wings are the best. And if you got, if you got a pair of big ones, tell them that you want the Billy C hot sauce. See if you can handle it. They got to put masks on to make it for me, all right? So just see if you can handle it. 518-792-4869, Halftime Bar and Grill. Now, we usually go up to the Halftime Bar and Grill on Fridays for Friday Night Fights. But, I just realized that this week's Friday Night Fights is on Saturday. What a stupid bonehead move by ESPN. I mean, come on, man. Now, let me make something perfectly clear. There's not a problem with the event that I have because it happens to be the event from Star Boxing featuring Demetrius Andrade coming at you from my favorite place to check out fights, and that's Mohegan Sun. And they are going to be showing the Cotto Mayweather fight on closed circuit after their night of activities. But, the thing that gets me is, if I'm ESPN, why the hell would I want to put a fight card on the same night as Cotto Mayweather? Now, I could understand the initial thought process. Hey, man, people are going to be jonesing for fights. It's a fight night, blah, blah, blah. But, man, with all the availability of the undercard for that, which have been, first of all, you can check it all out on Fight Now, excuse me, which is going to be great. You could check it out on Fight Now through their station or through their Ustream. And, I mean, so why would you waste your time with an ESPN card on a Saturday? They should have kept it on Friday night, man. They should have kept it on Friday night because there is no, the only fight that's on Friday night, from what I know, on television is the Fox Deportes card. Excuse me. And that's a good one featuring Daniel Ponce de Leon. But man, I didn't even realize that until yesterday. I'm sitting there looking at the date and I go, now hold on there, Baba Louie. May 5th. Where does that name? Cinco de Mayo. Now hold on there. So anyway, hey, I got some comments about Bernard Hopkins. He made it official yesterday, late. He said, I'm not quitting. No, man, I'm going to give you my full thoughts on that, but come on, man. Come on, Bernard. Why do we need to be subjected to him anymore? I mean, 20-something years is plenty of time to have been subjected to Bernard Hopkins. Listen, we have a poll question up on the website. You guys have spoken loud with, 89% of the people that have voted said Bernard Hopkins isn't worth the price of admission. The pay-per-view records of Bernard Hopkins have always been low. No one gives a crap about Bernard Hopkins. He's B-plop is what he's, not B-hop, B-plop. The guy is a piece of you-know-what. I mean, listen, yesterday I said it on the show, and I mean it. And I spoke with Scotty Krause yesterday afternoon after the show, and we had this long conversation about Bernard Hopkins and why we both believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame. But you know what? Not because of skill. You know, I'm getting a little sick of Hall of Fames, not just the boxing Hall of Fames, but every single one. Because now we've set these gauges, right? You know, in baseball, if you get 3,000 hits, if you get 500 home runs, you know, in football, if you throw for X amount of yards, I don't even know what the criteria is, or better yet, if you win a Super Bowl, you get on a Super Bowl team, you automatically get in. You know, it's crazy, man. When are we going to start judging our Hall of Famers by their abilities? You know, yeah, all those accomplishments and everything that B-Hop did, 20 years, 20 successful title defenses in the middleweight division, all of that stuff, being the oldest guy to win a title, all that stuff, great stuff, man. Great story. I love that stuff. However, you know, let's take a look at his career. And is he really a Hall of Famer? Do we put guys in just because they lasted 20-something years? You know, I'm not saying he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. But, I mean, you know, from this day forward, do we put guys in just because he's been around for so long? Do we put guys in, you know, just because of one aspect of his game? We all agree, or at least most of us agree, that he's a defensive, slick fighter. You know, he rolls with punches. He's an expert at throwing the 1-2 head punch. I mean, you know, come on, man. He's the only guy I know that can land multi-head punch combinations. So you know, we're going to put him in the Hall of Fame for that. You know, doesn't he need to have any kind of offensive ability? You know, this is a guy, go back and watch the tapes. You know, I got so pissed off. I'm telling you, I went back and I started watching some of his middleweight defenses, and they were just as boring and just as lackluster and just as lacking of talent offensively. The guy throws punches like a 4-round fighter. He just... He doesn't turn over his punches. His punches are wide. Harold Letterman, I said it on yesterday's show, Harold Letterman coined it best. You can't put your head down and yell charge and expect to be a winner all the time. I'm sorry, man. You know, I didn't even want to get into Bernard Hopkins this early in the show, but I'm looking at the press conference. I'm looking at the press title right now, and I'm saying to myself, man, you know, come on. You know, he could have went out on top. We could have remembered him after the Pavlik fight. Okay, we could have remembered him, you know, after he won the light heavyweight fight. And, you know, he gets not one but two chances to go out with a win and walk away. And none of this stuff I could even be saying today. None of it. You know, but now, you know, you get to see the first performance against Chad Dawson, you know, shoulder gate. You know, come on, man. You know, that left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Then you see the performance he does last week, you know, Saturday. And, you know, everybody just shakes their head and say, he's done. It's over. Everybody said it's over. It's time to hang up, you know. And then he comes out today and says, you know, I thought that fight was a lot closer. You know, I'm sticking with it. Man, come on, man. If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flow boys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IBO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOBoxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C, a radio show. Hey, man, you're probably watching the replay on LDL TV, and if you were catching it yesterday, apparently the bigwig, the suits over at LDL TV, that big guy with the cigar in his mouth, the guy that's always driving the Lamborghinis, and the rich guy, yeah, John, the big cheese over there at the LDL TV. He sent me a report, and I guess we had the most busy show, I guess, the most busy replay of the show last night. Almost 3,000 people tuned in and were watching it on Ustream. Unique, 3,000 unique, which is close to 3,000 anyway. Pretty good. So, attaboy, John. John is doing, for all the money we pay that guy, he's, come on, man, he's doing good. But anyway, I got the mailbags to read. The emails. Yeah. Hey, coming up in a little bit, I forgot to tell you, we got T-Boy Broche. He's a Canadian, former welterweight Canadian champion. He's going to be joining us a little bit later. And also later in the week, starting, tomorrow, we got my man Alex Papali. We're going to be doing Tiger Flowers for the Blast from the Past. And Tony Treem, we're going to be doing a heavyweight spotlight on heavyweights. We put Primo Carnera on hold a little bit, but we are going to be putting the heavyweight spotlight on heavyweights. Tony and I are going to, we've been talking, and we're going to be doing some experimental things, and you guys are going to be the guinea pigs. Hey, I'm Italian, man. Don't be saying that word, huh? Or whatever. Hawk Mustang says, hey, by the way, I wanted to thank everybody. First of all, Crab Cakes, the official song. It's going to become our official song. Yeah. Crab Cakes. It's the song you hear before the intro. And it's done by Memphis Gold. Check them out, www.memphisgold.com. Now, RadioSubmit.com sponsored them originally. We were doing all these songs from these young artists. But overwhelming requests for this song on the show, wanting to know who it is and everything else. It's our official song right now. So drop Memphis Gold an email. Tell them you heard their song on BillyCBoxing.com, MemphisGold.com. So, and I also want to thank all the listeners and viewers. Yesterday I got some good news and bad news. As a matter of fact, they put it to me exactly like that. They said, we got some good, bad news for you. I got several emails from people saying, hey, I love the website. We set it as a homepage, and you're right. It's the best boxing site out there. Updating on news, blah 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 blah. No pop-ups. But lately, I've been noticing that it's a little slow. What's the story? So I started, checking it out, and I thought that the site was working fine. And lo and behold, I did discover that at times it seemed a little sluggish. So I called the hosting company, and they told me that we got some good, bad news for you. So what the hell is good, bad news? They said, well, the increase in traffic has been so much that you've increased your bandwidth, and it's slowing down. You got more and more people coming on the site, watching videos, blah blah blah, and it's slowing down the site a little bit. And that's great news for you. I said, oh, good. He said, well, what's the bad news? Well, the bad news is you're going to have to move this service over to a different server, and that's going to cost you about $1,500 more a month. It's like, 15 more? So anyway, hey, thanks for the good, bad news, people. Keep coming to the site. So if you notice that it is a little sluggish, hey, it's because you're on there with a bunch of other people. All right, first and foremost, Hawk says, I agree 100% on your take with B-Hop. We must put him in the Hall of Fame due to his longevity and his defense. And that's what I was saying yesterday. He said, but I think he's a ODB, an old dirty bastard. We have become, I like that. I'm an ODB. We've become a society of abbreviations, right? And it's funny, depending upon the business you're in, the abbreviations can be meaning different things, Like I was in, and still am to a degree, in the computer business, the IT business. And there's so many abbreviations, and different things mean other stuff in other industries. It's funny how you'd say, oh, yeah, ABC. Oh, ABC. Oh, you don't want the ABC. But anyway, ODB, old dirty bastard, you're right. He says that makes up 70% of his offense, his dirty tactics. He's a master cheater. I figured B-Hop would lose and then cry he was robbed. B-Hop almost leaped out of the ring this time also, which I said yesterday, man, and I saw that too, Hawk. He says B-Hop is a master of dirty tactics and acting. He's effective but ugly and boring to watch. And I agree with Hawk 100%, and he has been for his whole career. And anybody that likes him, anyone that's a fan, he's one of the reasons, I should say, that we get, ripped off in this sport, because Bernard Hopkins looks for a way to get out of a fight and then make it so he kind of gets another payday out of it. So his primary goal is to make money, which when you put your business hat on, I'm not going to knock the man for making a living, and I can't blame him for the stupidity of boxing people like myself and you guys to keep watching them. It's and buying a ticket. I mean, it's ridiculous. But me and Hawk agree on that 100%. Hawk goes on to say, Paulie's good. If he would have had any kind of KO power, he probably would have been considered an all-time great. He has about everything else. Only his lack of punching power allows the most elite boxers to walk them down. Too bad his hands break easy. That's another issue with him too, Hawk. He has shown that his hands are fragile, and that hurts him. But the thing is that he's a big-hearted guy. Big ups to Paulie Malignaggi anyway. He fought abroad as a big underdog and won. He says, I would like to see him fight Devon Alexander. That'd be a good matchup. Just don't fight in Devon Alexander's hometown. I think Hawk makes a good point here about Paulie. Would he be a Hall of Famer? Would he be an all-time great if he had a little more pop behind his punch? I never liked his antics. I can't stand, especially since he's Italian, and I can't stand guys that are girly men, and I say girly men with Paulie not because he's not macho, but just his outfits, how he's color coordinated all the time. To me that's a girly man. But I got to agree with Hawk. I mean, if he didn't have weak hands, and if he had a little more pop behind his punches, I think we'd be singing different tunes about Paulie Malignaggi. And kudos to Paulie Malignaggi for going over to the Ukraine and winning. And Hawk of Mustang's got one more. What are you, Columbo today, Hawk? Come on, and one more thing. I got one more thing, says Hawk. He says, and that 7'2" Joker that lost to some bum proves just how good the Klitschko brothers are. People disrespect their skill and say they only win because of their size, yet many of the huge guys can't skip rope and they trip over their own feet. A huge heavyweight that actually has athleticism and skills is surprising. That's uncommon, just like when a fat boy smokes tall, lean guys in a 100-yard dash. I agree with him that, I think that not only did that guy, Poulsen, his name was, I believe, prove that you just can't be big to be good. I think Nikolai Valuev showed us all of that. And, I when I say the Klitschko, don't take me wrong, when I say that the Klitschko brothers are effective because of their size, I mean that in a pound-for-pound situation, because I do believe, and listen, let's call a spade, I do believe that the Klitschko brothers, one of the features and one of the reasons why they're so dominating is because of their size. But the other part of that is because they know how to use their size. They know how to fight a smaller guy. They know how to defend against a smaller guy. They know how to use their jab. They know how to set up their power. And the most important thing is exactly what my man Hawk says, that they're athletic. These guys can move around like a smaller guy, and that's what makes them so great. And, I mean, that's what brings up the age-old question. And, as much as it pains me, because I'm a historian and I love all the old-time fighters and everything, as much as it pains me, it would be hard to argue how they would fare against some of the all-time greats, specifically because of their size and their athleticism. It would just be hard for some of these guys, like a Jack Dempsey, who went into the ring at 180 pounds soaking wet, at 6 foot tall, 5'11", whatever, and expect them to overcome, at least 50 to 70 pounds worth of muscle and, another 7 inches of height. It's amazing when you think of it. And then even when you think of other great fighters of yesteryear who were considered big guys of their era, Jack Johnson comes to mind first. Here was a 6'1" guy that weighed 215 pounds, and he was a monster in 1900, So, you just got to take it put it in perspective. But anyway, I got a few more mailbags here and emails from our mailbag, all coming up in about, let me take a prediction, 2 minutes.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio. He would scoff at the stretch of that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. from upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. And tell him Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C, the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. That's what I do.
Bill.
Oh, wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's
wrong,
the problem?
Billy
What?
C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask
wrong
you.
speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C. radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel, and if you don't have Fight Now, now's the time to call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple, and I'll tell you what, now's a really good time because we got some extended coverage going on all this week, beginning today on the Cotto Mayweather fight. They got the arrivals going on today. They got weigh-ins and press conferences later in the week. Of course, we got the preliminary fights and a post-fight show by yours truly, Billy C, on immediately following the fight on Saturday night. So check out their website, www.fightnow.com, to get all the information. And I want to welcome the Fight Now audience just joining us like they do Monday through Friday from 6 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And I also want to remind everybody, especially if you're in, if you got AT&T Uverse, if that's your television provider, then you need to quickly call them and tell them you want Fight Now, because guess what? You can get it, and you just got to call Fight Now. You got to call your local television provider, which is AT&T Uverse, if that's what you have, and tell them you want Fight Now right now, because you can get it if you ask. AT&T Uverse customers, you can get it. And by the way, all of us, especially your extended family and friends, do me a favor, fill out the survey that we got up on BillyCBoxing.com. It takes you less than a minute. It's like 3 questions, and it will expedite the Fight Now channel getting onto the AT&T Uverse network. So, excuse me, I got the cough going on today. All the information about the channel and all that other hefty stuff can be found at their website, www.fightnow.com. T-Board Broge coming up in a few minutes. Scheduled to call us in about 10 minutes, so stay tuned for that. EQX says Andre Ward would handily beat Chad Dawson if they fight. That's EQX's thoughts. Andre Ward has, has pretty much accomplished everything they've thrown out in front of him. The only thing that bothers me about that fight, and I agree, I like the fight, and I think I'm going to agree with EQX too. If somebody asked me right now who I thought would win, I would probably lean towards Andre Ward too, because he's more aggressive. It seems that at times, I don't know what it is, but it seems at times that Chad Dawson either is saving something for later, either he doesn't have the confidence or whatever. I mean, we heard John Scully just urging him on to just let his hands go, convincing him he's got the gas in the tank, he's in shape, blah, blah, blah. And, some fighters just have a mental block. Once they get in there, they start thinking too much, and maybe that's what Chad Dawson is doing. And maybe he needs to let his hands go and become a little more automatic. And I think Andre Ward has him beat there. My only hang-up with this potential matchup right now is the fact that, we didn't see Andre Ward finish his reign at super middleweight until we see him fight Lucien Boutte, in my opinion. And I lean towards Ward because of his accomplishments. But Boutte is the guy that he's got to beat to truly say that he was the best in the super middleweight division, and now it's time to move up, that there's nothing left for him there. He's got one more fight there. Unfortunately, for both Chad Dawson and Andre Ward, they happen to be with promoters that don't seem to enjoy being the big fight promoter. They like being the co-promoter. They like being the guy that's doing these mid-level shows all the time, the ones that do make it to HBO and Showtime and ESPN and what have you. But the big pay-per-views, the big money fights, they're always a co-promoter on. And I think that the fighters that are under their banners, like Chad Dawson and Andre Ward, and even Sergio Martinez for that matter, are living proof of why they don't make that next step. Why the fighters don't make that next step in terms of being household names. We got man. I don't even know. I can never read this guy's name. It's it looks like O'Neal Sabalak. Next time you send me an email, Sabalak, could you give me like a shortened version of it? Maybe give me what you're trying to do here. Should I just call you O'Neal? Let's call him O'Neal Sabalak. I don't know. He says thumbs up for Hopkins losing. Yeah, I agree, man, and most people do. But Jordan sent me an email that listen, I wouldn't even click on this because I have this thing about giving other sites and specific articles or what have you my click, my play, so it doesn't come up in their ratings. But I have to share this one with you. It really goes against my feelings. But he says, anybody can write these days for any specific fight, for any specific boxing website. And he says that it's diluted quality writers. And to give you an example, there was an article on Bleacher Report, and it's called Pound for Pound, Bernard Hopkins greater than Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, I didn't read the article. Now, listen, you guys know that, I don't like either one of these guys, right? But they're both Hall of Famers. But please, you can't even mention Bernard. When it comes to quality boxers, now, I'm not saying getting into the Hall of Fame, because they're both going to get in. But when it comes to quality and pound-for-pound rankings, you can't even mention Bernard Hopkins in the same breath. You can't even say it in the same room. If you mention pound-for-pound, all-time great fighters, or pound-for-pound Hall of Famers, or whatever, and you mention Floyd Mayweather Jr., if you're thinking about mentioning Bernard Hopkins anytime closely after mentioning Floyd Mayweather with that conversation, leave the room and go into another room and mention it, because that's how far apart the quality of these two fighters overall are. Now, I'm not knocking Bernard for his longevity and his defense, like I said earlier and like I said yesterday. But as far as offensive skill, but as far as the whole package, come on. Floyd Mayweather is eons, light years ahead of Bernard Hopkins when it comes to pound-for-pound rankings. So whoever wrote that, which I refuse to look at, obviously doesn't know a left hook from a fish hook, okay? And finally, we got another one. We have this is from Alex T. He's got a couple of things. He says, a big congrats to Paulie Malignaggi. When he was coming up, I got to be honest, I really wasn't a big fan. But like everyone else, he impressed me with his toughness in the Cotto fight. That was me. I was the same way, man. In that fight, I became a fan of Paulie. And Alex T. says he's been a fan as well ever since. What impresses me the most about Paulie Malignaggi is he brings a rock to a gunfight every time out, and most of the time he wins. Just think about that. It's a two-division champion who really has no other weapons besides a great jab. The kid is all heart. I read somewhere a while back where Paulie said he thinks he could have done more in his career, but I think he should be commended for going further than many guys who had more tools but not as much heart and desire. Well put, Alex. I think I can't even think of anything to disagree. I disagree with that 110%. He says, look at Salika from this past weekend. I thought this kid was something special. Goes to show you that you need more than skill in this sport. This is true. You need some brains too. You got some brains. He says, I heard critics of Salika saying he should have stopped Grachov after he dropped him, which is what downtown Leona Brown was saying to me when we were watching that fight live. She's like, you got the guy hurt. What are you toying around for? They his corner wanted him to go rounds in that fight. So they basically are telling him, just box and, get some rounds under your belt, and look what happens. He says, but not everyone in the sport is a finisher. Yeah, but when you drop a guy, you got to go after him at least for that round. Now, you could fast forward and look at what Chaz Witherspoon did against Seth Mitchell, and he made a mistake by picking up that assault in the second round. He should have went back to the jab and try and set up the breakdown again of Seth Mitchell. Instead, he decided that he was going to take him out of there, and we all know what happened there as well. He says the mistake Salika made was that he had no respect for his opponent, and he tried to coast. Grachov didn't get the memo that he was supposed to pad Salika's record, and the guy kept trying to win even though he was way behind on the cards. And you got to give Grachov credit for that. And just like I was saying about Salika, they were trying to get him rounds, and that was the game plan, He says, finally, I think John Scully deserves the world of credit for keeping Dawson focused on Saturday night. I had Hopkins up 3-1 after the first 4 rounds. Come on, man. Alex was smoking and drinking that night, I think. I don't know. And Chad looked like he was about to come unplugged. He was complaining to the referee and looking really angry. That's exactly what Hopkins wants his man to do. Scully was able to get Dawson back on track, and I had him winning every other round since. After the first 4 rounds, on my unofficial scorecard, I had after the first 4 rounds, I had to fight even. I had to fight even at 2-2. But then the next round I had Hopkins winning wasn't until round 11. Wasn't until round 11, and that's it. I gave him 3 rounds. So maybe you weren't. Maybe you were smoking and drinking the same stuff I was. But anyway, great email from my man Alex T. Hey, one other thing I wanted to mention real quick. Now, I'm not much into other radio stuff and not much into other things other than boxing anyway. But I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Opie and Anthony. It's a radio show, and they're highly known throughout the. You know Howard Stern. Well, like the next guy is the next station the next show that's very popular is Opie and Anthony, and they do a lot of stuff, man. They're good team. Well, there's a guy that appears on that show all the time. 2 comedians that are part of that show, Rich Voss and Steve Hofstetter, and these 2 guys were actually. Rich Voss was doing a stand-up comedy act at a comedy club that was it was actually owned by Steve Hofstetter. And what happened was there was a heckler in the audience, and the Opie and Anthony show, these guys reached out to us and asked us to mention this. They said, hey, we know you're into boxing and everything else, but check out this video. And they showed me a video of a heckler in the audience, and what was happening was this guy was drunk or whatever, and he was heckling Rich Voss, who was doing the show. And they start pushing each other. They start getting into a fight, during this act. And what happened was Steve Hofstetter, the guy who owns the club and was also kind of part of the act a little bit, handled this whole situation pretty cool, where they were able to get this guy out of there without really disrupting everything. There was a lot of F-bombs thrown, and it's kind of an interesting video to check out. So I told him I would pass it along since our listeners like fights, so you may like this one. Check it out. It's on YouTube. If you do a search of Heckler Shoves Comedian, you'll find it. So I wanted to give out a shout-out to these guys for asking us to spread the word, because they pretty much know that we deal a lot of, obviously with strictly boxing. My man Murphy is in the chat room, and he's got a comment. He says, in fairness to Shaw and Lou DiBella, it takes a lot of money to put on a fight of that magnitude. Basically, only two promoters can afford to do that, Arum and Golden Boy. Even King can't come up with the money anymore. Yeah, but that's not the point, Dave. And first of all, King can come up with the money to do that. He just doesn't have the stable of fighters anymore. And he's, quickly losing interest in the sport. He's just is. But he definitely has the money. The other thing is, if you're going to play with these guys, if you're going to be in this arena, you got to ante up the money somehow. And you can't expect your guys to what's happened is these promoters, these types of promoters, just like the ones we're talking about, they've gotten their fighters in a position just to be the opponent. And I kind of have a problem with that, and I'm not saying that, they don't, maybe they don't have the money to do it, like Murph is saying, but you know what? You got a guy like Martinez, you got a guy like Dawson, you got a guy like Ward, and you're crying that nobody, the only fight you're looking for is an Arum or a Golden Boy fighter. So, that's what bothers me the most, that we've put the sport of boxing in the hands of two promoters. And what does that tell you? Why is the Ring magazine owned by one of those two promoters? Why do, you look at the Ring and you see that if you don't think that the Ring has become biased to Golden Boy, so, we might as well just say that, Top Rank and Golden Boy is boxing, because that's, in a sense, is what's happening. Okay, I see that he's here, so hang tight.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio with no worthy contenders. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Combat Sports. It's here right now, and it's called Fight Now. You got to call your local television provider and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call them. Tell them you want Fight Now right now. Check out their website for all the information about the site, www.fightnow.com. And speaking of now, joining us, we have former Canadian welterweight champion. Now, listen, he held two titles. One was the Ontario Boxing Council and the Professional Boxing Council, Canadian welterweight champ, T-Boy Broche. What's up, T-Boy?
How you doing, Billy?
Listen, man, I'm doing good. The question is, how are you doing? I heard from the last time you fought, which we'll get into who you fought in a second, but I heard you were involved in an accident. Tell me about it, man.
Yeah. I think it was about maybe 2 months, it was about 3 months after my last fight. I had a nasty motorcycle accident. It was something that I rode I've been riding motorcycles for a long time, and I know that fighters and athletes shouldn't be on them. They are dangerous. And but what can I say? I mean, I made a mistake, and I am not looking to repeat it, but I can comfortably talk about it because I know that the bikes, they're out of my life now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they never were good friends of mine, I'll tell you the truth. Not that I was involved in two motorcycle accidents that I was a passenger on, and I never really got into riding them myself, and I'm not against anyone that does. It's just something I stay away from, but I'm glad to hear you're okay. Now, let's talk about your last fight. It was one fight last year, over a year ago, actually. It was in February, against a kid that right now is being highly regarded in Samuel Vargas. You battled him to a draw, which is no surprise with you. Tell us about that fight.
I thought the fight was a great fight for the fans. Not so much, prior to that fight, I had started to feel like, that 147 was a little bit, it was out of my category now. I felt like it was a big category for myself, but because I held the 147-pound title, and I knew I could beat Sammy. I went along with the fight. It was going to be in my hometown in Mississauga. There, I just thought it'd be a great opportunity for Canadian boxing. But I did notice in that fight, I noticed a bit of the size factor, which I said I noticed in my even 2 fights prior to that. I was starting to get a little bit concerned about the 47 category, and I was starting to say things to my coach at the time, Jerome Coffey, that, look, man, I know that I'm a 40-pounder. Hell, I'm maybe even a 35-pounder. You know what I mean? And he always agreed with me. Actually, he told me right from the start when we started fighting that he thought I was more of a 40-pounder. And it is what it is. I took the fight with Sammy because I knew I could beat him. Which, I'll say it again. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything otherwise, but I thought I won the fight. I thought I squeaked out 6 rounds out of the 10, but regardless, it was a close, amazing battle, you know what I mean, and very exciting for the fans. Is it going to happen again? I'm not sure, but like I said, the 47 category is just it's not an option anymore. I know that I'm not a natural 40. I'm 47 pounds right now. So, that's where I stand with that.
Well, have you ever been in a fight that wasn't a knockout, drag-out fight? I mean, listen, I'm your biggest fan. You know that. I mean, here's a guy, just for all my listeners that don't know him. He starts out after his first 7 fights. The kid's got a record of 1 win, 3 losses, and 3 draws, and you could argue that you pretty much could have been undefeated at that point, right?
Yes. I had a very controversial record. I mean, a little bit of mismanagement when I first started my pro career. I mean, I was a yes sir. Didn't really have too much information or experience in the sport. I was kind of like just doing it. Whatever they told me to do, I was doing it. But like I said, I was fighting in the wrong categories in the beginning of my career, and after that 1-3-3 record that I had there, I moved into the 47-pound category and started beating up some guys in Montreal and making a little bit of a comeback from that. I started to figure out the weight thing, and hell, like I said, I was dangerous at 47 or somebody to be reckoned with. Nobody could take me out. I found I wasn't hurting guys too much because I told you the size category, but at 35 and 40, I know I'm going to be a scary dude, and quite honest, I don't think there's too many people that want to fight me at that category. But I'm hoping, man. I need some help.
Well,
because I'm ready to go.
It sounds like you're ready to go, man, and I'm dying to see you again. Do you have anything on the horizon? So you're gonna so you're definitely gonna come back at 140. That's good. You feel comfortable. I mean, if you're walking around right now, 147, 150. I mean, 140 shouldn't be a problem for a fight. Do you have anything in mind? I mean, are you looking at anything in the near future?
One of the best things about this conversation is me getting out there that I want to fight in the 35-40 category, because I'm still getting a lot of phone calls in office to fight at 47, even catch weights and stuff at like 50. I don't want to start mentioning names and being that guy, but I just think it's ridiculous fighters coming in sometimes with these catch weights. The only times that I've came in at catch weights it wasn't my idea, put it that way. It wasn't my request. And I just think it's like, make the weight. Especially if you're owning a title at a certain weight category, make the weight and fight at that category, and not coming in at these catch weights after that, prior to that,
Yeah, well, I mean, we have weight limits, so welterweight, 147 means you could come in anywhere from 141 to 147. That's a welterweight. Why you would put a stipulation on you can't weigh more than 145 or something like that is ridiculous. But anyway, so you're in the gym. Everything's going good. You're ready to roll?
Everything is, everything is a go. I'm 99.9% healthy again. I'm running every day. I'm working with Dwight Frazier is now, he's managing and helping me out. I'm working out in his gym, and I've been training a whole lot, and praying a whole lot too, because 3 months ago I wasn't sure if I was going to make a full recovery from some of the bad injuries that I suffered from the accident. So I'm excited to be back in the ring. I'm sparring again a little bit here. When we get a fight contract or we get an opportunity to fight, I'll obviously be stepping it up. I would say the shape that I'm in though now, I mean, all I would need is a good, maybe a month prior for a fight to get ready. You know what I mean? So I'm excited, man. I'm so hungry. I don't mean to babble on, but like I said, I just can't help but repeat and say, hey, I'm ready to go. I want to fight at 135 or 140. Somebody call me. I need to work. I need to get back in that ring.
T-Boy, you just want to fight anybody, man. I don't want to cut you off in the street.
I really feel like sometimes people don't give me the benefit of the doubt because they look at, and I don't want to sound like a bitter fighter, but they look at the records and they judge fighters by their records. And I say, hell, I don't say it. Teddy Atlas, lots of people say you never judge a fighter by his record.
No,
you know what I mean.
All they got to do is watch you, man. I mean, I got to see a couple of your fights, and as a matter of fact, we called the action for the Watson fight when you won the that OBC title for the Ontario.
You know what? Yeah, I remember that. I remember that you were there. I remember that. That was a great fight. That was my first fight. After you were talking about my 1-3-3 record, I had moved and I was working with Jerome Coffey. Jerome Coffey, he changed my whole style, and he made me a very smart fighter. He taught me how to win. He also taught me about the weight thing. Jerome Coffey is, I love him, but that was a great fight with Watson. Let me tell you something about Watson. He's the only guy on my record with a losing record that I fought. The only guy you could say that you could put it like, what they say to me sometimes, oh, well, we gave you an easy one. But let me tell you, that guy was not easy, man. He was a southpaw. We knew he was a southpaw, but we got ready for him, and I almost fought a perfect fight. It was a great fight. I was very proud of that fight. And a lot of people won't give me the credit for that fight either because of who he was. But, you look at all the guys that are on top of the game right now and take a look at their records. You take a look at my record, and, like I said, I don't want to mention names or anything, but it is what it is.
All I know is if they take you lightly by looking at your record, which, in my opinion, anybody that's sitting on a 6-win, 3 losses, and 5-draw record, I know what I do is I'm scared of looking at guys with more than 1 draw, because I'm saying to myself, when I look at fighters, I'm always saying that those draws, at least, more than half, or I should have been W's, so... but listen, I'm your biggest fan, you know that, and Johnny Robbins, I'm sure, told you, he's my man, and we want to hear more about T-Boy Bros. So as soon as you get a fight scheduled, you let me know, and we'd love to have you back on, and maybe we'll get an article written about you, and we'll do all that stuff. All right?
That would be great, Billy. I appreciate it, man. The second I get some action, you'll be hearing from me, and we'll take it from there.
All right, brother. Well, listen, you stay cool, and you keep me posted, all right?
I will do. Thank you for having me and letting me speak about where I'm at and letting the people know that, I'm back in the game and I'm looking for work.
Sounds good. I can't wait to see you again, brother.
Thanks again. Again, Billy.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's T-Boy. Well, let me rephrase it. That's Mighty T-Boy Bros. Listen, man, if you guys haven't seen him, I think we may still have some footage of that fight, that Paul Watson fight. I think it's up on one of the sites, so check that out. And I'll tell you what, listen, if you haven't seen this kid fight, just ask Johnny Robbins. You see him in Facebook all the time. Just ask him why I like this kid. Ask him why I like T-Boy Bros. And he'll tell you why. He'll laugh first, and then he'll tell you why. Because the minute I saw this guy, I was like, John, I want to work with this kid. So anyway, check him out. I got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out there. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Hit Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh?
What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C, a radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now channel, and if you want to get the Fight Now channel, add it to your sports channel lineup. Then pick up the phone and call your TV provider, man. Tell them that you want Fight Now right now, especially if you have AT&T Uverse for all the information about the channel and our extended Cotto Mayweather fight stuff this weekend. And beginning today, actually. I shouldn't say this weekend. It's starting today through the weekend. Check out their website, www.fightnow.com. Fill out the survey for us, will you please? It's on our site, www.BillyCBoxing.com. It's a fight poster right on top right. Click it. Take you about 1 minute. I don't care where you're from, whether you have AT&T Uverse or not. Fill it out. You know, tell them you want AT&T Uverse. And most importantly, you want Fight Now. Well, I said I wasn't going to. I said that I wasn't going to talk about Hopkins until now, but that went out the window as soon as I mentioned his name. I was talking about him as soon as the show started. He's made it official. He is not quitting. So we as boxing fans are going to be subjected to more of him. You know, it's like every other sport. We have the power to just say no. You know, we have the power just not to watch him, not to go buy tickets, just not to say anything good. You know, don't say anything. You know, and you know, it's like that's what's happened with Evander Holyfield. Now, I'm not putting the two in the same boat. But Evander Holyfield, you know, for all intent and purposes, was forced out of boxing by the boxing people refusing to put him on any more shows. I mean, you know, come on, man. You know, it's a joke. No, I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'm not. Well, unless you're talking about the Fight Now. Yeah, the Fight Now stuff is all leading into the pay-per-view. It begins today. So I'm responding to some stuff in the chat room. So you got to check out their website, www.fightnow.com, for the latest times and schedule for the extended Cotto Mayweather stuff. We're not going to start talking about that until tomorrow's show because you know, we're just sick. We've been talking about Mayweather so much. As far as Bernard Hopkins, he said, and I quote, "I fought hard Saturday night and feel the fight was closer than the two of the scores reflected." Listen, B-Hop, the only score that was totally absurd was the one that you are saying that was correct, and that's the 114 score by Luis Rivera, who actually it must be a blind man because There's no way in hell that fight was even that close. I'm not even. It wasn't even one-sided. And I'm convinced I gave Bernard Hopkins a courtesy round. Realistically, it should have been 10 rounds to 2. I gave him 3 as a courtesy round. But come on, man. But he goes on to say, regardless of the result, I will continue my career and challenge any champion in my division. I might be older, but I don't feel a decline in my skills or abilities in the ring. Somebody needs to sit him down and say, Bernard Hopkins, we know you're not the sharpest tool in the shed. Because let's be real, he may be smart in a sense where he's taking advantage of our stupidity for constantly, still going to see him, still watching his fights and what have you. But he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. I don't look at him as an intelligent man. I look at Floyd Mayweather as somewhat intelligent. Although it's funny, he did an interview yesterday, and he's referring to a math problem. Outside of 2 times 2, I'm not sure Mayweather can do much in math. But the bottom line here with Hopkins is he says, I don't feel a decline in my skills or ring abilities. Somebody needs to sit him down and show him that he has. And maybe he's right. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe Biap is right. Maybe it's time for us to recognize that he never had it. He never had it. He's been a guy that's been lingering on. He's like a scab that won't go away on your arm or something. You got that. You constantly, it's just about to go away. You scratch it and it opens it up, and you're like, shh, damn. There goes that scab again. That's him, man. That's him. And he says, I'd love to fight, and I'm still competing at a level where boxing can't deny me the opportunity to succeed. Yes, it can. And loving to fight is cool. I don't have a problem with him loving the game, loving to fight, loving the competition aspect. But he's not a champion caliber fighter. He's not an interesting fighter to watch. He's not a fighter that most fighters would want to fight. He makes you look bad, and he made Chad look bad, and I mean bad. Chad looked bad, not bad like badass, like he looked bad, and that's because of Bernard Hopkins. We think, and we've been saying this about Chad Dawson for a while now. Chad needs to focus now, and we all think he's got the ability, and we all think he's got the opportunity now to focus on fighters that are more his age. That are younger and up and coming, and not even up and coming, established younger fighters. There's several light heavyweights that he could fight that could be big fights, and really let us see how good Chad Dawson is. Because really, for the most part, the youngest fighter he fought recently is Jean Pascal, and he lost that fight. He had the fights against Tarver, who's just another version of Bernard Hopkins, in my opinion. Except Tarver doesn't. There's no fighter in boxing today that can master the 1-2 headbutt combination. There's just none. I mean, I'm going to forever remember Bernard Hopkins for leading with his head, landing a solid shot with his head on Chad Dawson's chin, and then immediately following it up with a side headbutt to the side of Chad Dawson's face. So, I mean, not many fighters can successfully deal with a 1-2 headbutt punch like Bernard Hopkins, and I'm just appalled that we would even entertain, or someone would entertain putting him in another fight. I mean, who's he going to fight? He's certainly not going to take on. Typically what happens in a situation like this is you'll see a fighter that was a champion lose his belt, and then what does he do? What's the normal routine? Well, of course, then he comes back and he gets what we call a comeback fight or a layup fight or a fight to get him a W, whatever. The problem with Bernard is he won't do that. And the reason why he won't do that is because he won't get paid for that. Generally you're paying the other guy for that. And nobody wants to see Bernard Hopkins fight. Nobody wants to see him. Nobody. I don't even think his family wants to see him. Does he have a family? I don't even know. But anyway, some other news out of the world of boxing. You remember Luis Resto? Louis Resto. He's the guy that fought, the kid that Billy Collins Jr. Remember, Panama. Al Lewis took the glove padding out, and Louis Resto was the fighter that inflicted this beat down on Billy Collins Jr. and ultimately led to Collins' death. His career was over, and became a heavy drinker and ultimately got killed. And Louis Resto served time in jail. Panama Al Lewis was a guy that also did some time. He's banned from boxing for life. As a matter of fact, Panama can't. I believe the rule is he can't even sit. I'm thinking three rows back. I don't think he can sit 3 rows back. I think it's got to be in the fourth row or further back from the ring. That's how his ban is. Luis Resto, he too was banned. Obviously, he's not trying to make a comeback, but he's trying to get a seconds license, which gives him the ability to help train fighters during a fight. In the state of New York, he applied for a license, sent his money in and everything else, and the state of New York denied him. They denied him a license. I don't know how I feel on this. I don't know how I feel on this. If we're able to forget about Antonio Margarito, how do we? What do we do with Luis Resto? I mean, in this case, it had a tragic ending. Again, we could say that he knew. He could say he didn't know. Whatever the case is, if we didn't ban Antonio Margarito for life, this guy, do we give him an opportunity to at least be in the corner? I don't know. I don't know how I feel on this. How do you feel? How do you guys feel? Drop me an email. Let me know. Billy at TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I have an opinion on this. I'm curious to know what yours is. If he was convicted of assault, he did his time. Should he be allowed to, continue his livelihood, which his boxing is all he knows. He made a mistake. Does he? He did his time. In our society, whether it's for whatever, once you do your time, don't you get a second chance? I mean, I don't know. I think padding the gloves is the worst thing you can do in this sport. Obviously, his situation. There was a movie out. As a matter of fact, the director Eric Drath, who was on this show, actually, he says, he says, and I quote: "The decision of the commission is disappointing, considering the time served, the time he served in prison." He's talking about Luis Resto, and his subsequent remorse. I wonder if there was a financial or political gain to be made by the New York State Athletic Commission. Would the outcome have been different? Well, that's what Eric Drath said. He was the one who did the film "Assault in the Ring," and we'll see what happens. And I can't see any gain politically or financially that the New York State Athletic Commission would get by denying Luis Resto. I think it's a matter of what they feel is right for the sport, for the integrity of the sport of boxing, which the New York State Athletic Commission likes to use that word a lot when they make these kinds of decisions. My point is just, first of all, I think that, like I said earlier, I think that a fighter that is caught cheating with loaded gloves of any kind, that's the worst infraction thing you can do in the sport of boxing. With that said, it's not like he got slapped on the wrist. It's not like he served a year's suspension like Antonio Margarito, who also got caught, who claimed he didn't know, which we all know is BS. There's no fighter. I don't think you'll find a fighter on this planet, either amateur or pro, that doesn't watch his own hands being taped. So, if your trainer is putting something in your gloves, I mean, and for you to say, you don't know it, so that's number one. The guy does a year. Luis Resto not only was banned from boxing, but he served time in prison. This wasn't a ban. This wasn't he served some time away from the ring. I mean, he did time in prison. When does this guy get another chance? So I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel. I don't know how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel in the chat room? I wonder how you guys are thinking about the Resto situation. David Allen says one of the worst people was Stanley Sadler's son. I don't even know what the story of that is, so I don't even know what the heck he's talking about. So maybe David Allen can elaborate on that, and Murphy just said, Resto did his time, and I don't hold him as accountable as Panama. I think they're both should be held accountable, Dave, in my opinion. Because of what I just said, there's no fighter on the planet that doesn't see what's happening when his hands are being taped, or in this case, and in Resto's case, he could have denied that he even knew that the padding was taken out of the glove. He might have felt it. Obviously, he would have felt it, but but I agree with the first part of what Dave says. He did his time. Listen, the glove exactly, and that's what Dave's saying right now. He's saying, this is the gloves. These are gloves that were tampered with by the trainer who admitted it. Margarito was looking right at his hands when they were taping the foreign objects in there. David Allen, what did Stanley Sadler's son do? I want to know. But I agree with the last thing Murph said. He says, yeah, but he had to feel it. Yeah, and that's what I said too. He had to feel it when he was every time he punched the kid with pretty much bare knuckles. But anyway, a lot has been said about Yeah, I know. David Murphy's telling the story about removing the padding. Yeah, I know, and that's why I agree that Panama Al Lewis, should be denied. I guess I would have to lean with. I guess I would have to lean towards giving him another chance, at least as a corner man. I don't know. Orlando Salido, he's currently the WBO featherweight champion, world champion. He's the guy, in case you don't know, in case you were living under a rock or something. He's the guy that, took Juan Lopez out of the limelight. And, he's saying that David Allen says Stanley Sadler's son charged $20 for signed photos of Sandy and only put $1 in Sandy's pocket. Yeah, that is a scumbag move. Yeah, that's taking advantage of Papa San, huh? But that's a lot different than taking the padding out of the gloves and trying to kill somebody, David Allen. But anyway, Orlando Salido, I think that most of us, at least the diehards in the sport of boxing, kind of love fighters just like Orlando Salido. The guys that have to fight for everything they get. Guys that don't have the glory record, the glittering record, the Money Mayweather record. The guys that don't get handed decisions when they shouldn't, and all of that, and yet they're world champions. That's what I like about that Cruz kid. He comes in, he wins a world title, midway through his career. and as a champion and everything else. Well, Orlando Salido is a class act, but it gets better than that. He says, now I just said he owns the WBO featherweight title. He says that he would love to fight Johnny Gonzalez, who just won this weekend when he beat. He's got the WBC featherweight title. I spit on the WBC, and he's got their belt, and had to fight the champion in recess because he had another WBC belt. I spit on the WBC, and Orlando Salido says, "Hey, I want to fight Johnny Gonzalez. I want to give him credit for winning. He's a fellow Mexican. Congrats," he says. But we should get it on in the ring, and do a unification. And I like that because a lot of fighters might just say, well, let me make some defenses, let me make some money. And here's a guy, Salido, who's got the record 38 wins, 11 losses, 2 draws, 26 knockouts. And he's calling out another world champion in Johnny Gonzalez, who's 52 wins, 7 losses, and 45 knockouts. So both of these guys have you guys are killing me. David Allen says he was selling photos of Billy C, but nobody wanted to buy any. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. That's because I give them away for free. But anyway, I like seeing these guys fight each other, and the best part about this call out is that Johnny Gonzalez is probably going to accept it. Now the problem is that you get the troll man, the WBC. I spin on the WBC. You get him saying, "Oh no, wait a minute! Your mandatory is Ichiguami, some other guy, some obscure fighter." So if Johnny Gonzalez wanted to fight Orlando Salido, they probably will strip him, But anyway, did you hear about a fight that's taking place on May 19th? Eric El Terrible Morales, Eric Terrible Morales. He's got a promotional company, Box Latino. It looks like they're going to be presenting a card in Mexico on May 19th, and the main event is going to be the USNBC, the WBC. I spit on the WBC. The WBC's USNBC. Come on, man. Come on. All these belts. It's comical. It really is. The Super Bantamweight WBC. I spit on the WBC. USNBC Super Bantamweight title list. Oscar Gonzalez, who's got a record of 27 wins, 1 loss, 24 knockouts, is going to be looking to defend that belt against Giovanni Caro, who's got a record of 23 wins, 10 losses, and 4 knockouts out of Mexico. And the fight's going to take place in Mexico, and it's going to be broadcast on Televisa as part of a weekly boxing series, which is pretty cool, man. So I'm excited about that fight. I'm excited about Eric Morales doing well with his promotional company because, I hope he doesn't continue on. The only fight I think that I'd approve in my own mind to see is him against my man Juan Manuel Marquez as both a farewell fight. Both of them saying goodbye. But anyway, that's what's going on there. Did you hear about this? Is something that is going to be taking place tonight. Dmitry Priag. Now he's a world champion. He's the WBO middleweight world champion, undefeated, 19-0 with 15 knockouts. He's going to be making a third defense of his world title today, and it's going to be taking place in Moscow, Russia. So it may be almost coming on. I think the time difference might be. I think Moscow is it 12 hours or 6? Might only be 6, but it's taking place today. So we'll be talking about the results on tomorrow's show. It's his third defense. Now, who's he fighting? He's fighting Nobuhiro Ishida. Now, Nobuhiro Ishida, he made his fame by knocking out James Kirkland. And again, this guy, Ishida, is moving up in weight to get a fight. You know, don't you notice that happens a lot? You know, if a fighter does something good, the next thing you know is they're offering him fights where he's, you know, going up in weight. And in this case, remember, he went up in weight to fight James Kirkland at junior middleweight. So now he's got, in order to get fights and get money, he's going up in weight again, another weight class. So, yes, he's tall. Yes, he's lanky. But this guy's probably going to be 10, 12 pounds lighter fight night minimally over against Dmitry Pryog. But at least Pryog is making a defense against at least a known guy. Now, I'm not so crazy about the WBO approving him. He is in the top 12 as defined by the WBO, which is a criteria. But remember, I forget the fight, but they wouldn't approve a pretty decent fighter for a WBO title defense, and I think they eventually did. But they were given the fight of the fighter that wanted to fight, and I forget it. I apologize for that. But now all of a sudden they approve this fight. You know, I mean, you got to be consistent. And don't get me wrong, I like. My geographical expert, Dave Murphy, says Moscow's 8 hours ahead of New York. So that means it's 9 hours ahead of him and 2 hours ahead of my man David Allen, who's in there too. So, he looks... See, I love having guys like Dave Murphy in the chat room because he's got, his NASA. He's got a computer center up. He basically watches the show in a NASA control room, and he gets me all the information. Now, David Allen, the other guy, he just sits around and he's older. He's older, so he probably has an abacus that he does his mathematical calculations on. And from what I understand, he's got to keep feeding the gerbils because he's got a whole slew of gerbils for a lot of different reasons I'm not going to get into. But one of the reasons is to keep his computer running. So the other reasons, well, use your imagination. If you're sick like he is, use your imagination. But I value the WBO. I like their organization. Back when they first came out, no one gave them much of a chance. But if you take a look at some of their champions, they are quality fighters, and they're in my opinion, they've risen to pretty much the top. As the sanctioning bodies go. I mean, I'll give you my updated ranking of the top 5. I like the WBO first. I actually like the IBO second, and I like them. They're like the way the WBO was. A lot of people don't give them much recognition in terms of their champions, but their integrity and the guy who beat the guy mentality, I think we're gonna in a relatively short time, even though they've been around for a while now, I think you're gonna have to start to admit that they're rising to the top. So I got the WBO, the IBO, the IBF, which is kind of the middle of the road all the time. Then the WBA, who I thought was the pits for the longest time, but taking the cellar right now, the worst sanctioning body in the sport, in my opinion, is the WBC. I mean, they have no integrity, and this whole thing with the Andre Ward champion and recess, I mean, it's sickening what they do and how they smokescreen it and basically are, painting in the wheel a different color and calling it something else.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing with Billy C.
The 2012 Summer Olympic Games unfold in 5 months in London. The honor and the history of playing host goes back a long way. How long? That's next on Sports Shorts with me, the Sports Princess.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Legend has it that the Olympics go back to Hercules, but let's leave Greek mythology out of it. The modern games opened in 1896. Since Athens couldn't afford to put them on, a businessman ponied up the coin. Pole vaulting, weightlifting, shot put, and swimming, few of the handful of events. Since those days, some of the original sports remain. Others come and go, depending on the whims of the International Olympic Committee. Australia, France, Germany, and China have hosted summer games, and this will be the third time for London. As for the winter games, the U.S. has hosted them 4 times since they started in 1924 in France, featuring sports like alpine cross-country skiing, figure skating, and such. Between the summer and the winter games, there are hundreds of sports and thousands of athletes. You never know what city is going to get a crack at hosting next. I'm the Sports Princess with Sports Shorts.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway. Up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette. He's in some buttonette. Coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You are listening to Talking Boxing with Billy C. Radio Show. And you're watching us on the Fight Now channel. Hell, and the crowd goes crazy because you want the Fight Now channel. That's right. You got to call your local television provider right now and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. Gotta, man. Pick up the phone and call them. I know you. Listen, I got to hear Dax bragging about the Fight Now channel all the time and his DVR and blah, blah, blah. You know, if it wasn't for his great family that sticks up for me all the time, Dax Khan would be like, you know, he only tunes into the one show anyway. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him fool you. But he is the leading guy of the Billy C family. That he's the one that gets Fight Now. I can't even get it on our cable provider, and I keep calling him once a week like you should be. You should be calling your local television provider at least once a week and tell them that you want Fight Now. You know, they know me by name. They're like, oh, okay, we're marking it down. Because I know we have Time Warner, and they do that. They mark down requests. And the more requests they get, the quicker they'll get it on there. And Fight Now is available to every single TV provider. So all you got to do is request it. And if you have AT&T UVerse, now's the time to really step up your whining and crying because they're ready to roll. And they're just looking for people to fill out that survey real quick and tell them how much you want Fight Now on AT&T UVerse. It's right up on our webpage, www.BillyCBoxing.com. Click the fight poster there. And by the way, for all the information about the channel, you can find it on their website, www.fightnow.com. Raymond Serena and Kareem Mayfield, they're going to be headlining an ESPN card on May 18th. It's going to be taking place at the Albany Times Union, which is about an hour or so from me. I'm going to be there ringside, and I want you guys to be there too. Come on up to the Halftime Bar and Grill on Route 9, South Glens Falls, and win a chance at a couple of tickets for that event. We'll do their Friday Night Fights thing all the time there. Now, this Friday night, I got to find out if they have Fox Deportes, because if they do, I'll be up there watching that. I'll be giving you guys an opportunity to win some tickets. If not, you're going to have to wait till next week, man. It's that simple. You have to wait till next week. You can get tickets now if you don't want to wait, and if you don't think you're going to be able to make it up there, just visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the banner that you'll see any of the Star Boxing banners. Jimmy Birchfield, Classic Entertainment Sports, has a fight coming up on a Wednesday night. It's on a Thursday night. It's May 24th. It's going to be featuring Valdine Bossi. who's 12 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 6 of his W's come by knockout. They call him Mr. Providence, and he's going to be fighting against Joey K.O. Kid Spina, who's 26-2, as the main event. So that's going to be taking place at the Twin River Event Center on Thursday night. I like those fights. I like the during-the-week fights, man. This weekend we got some decent ones. You know, you've heard of the guys, I'm sure. Floyd something or other. He's talking smack. You know, I'm just so sick of him. So sick of him. Here's my thoughts on that fight. Now, first of all, we got some good fights that we're going to be picking. Now, hey, speaking of picking fights, no, David Allen, we don't want you to pick your nose. We're talking about picking fights. And here's the thing. The Billy C Challenge is alive and well. But here's the thing. It's being revamped right now because we were unprofessionally bailed out on by Simon Bar Sinister, who was doing so well. I mean, this guy put in so much time and effort with the Billy C Challenge. You know, on one hand, I give him all the praise and everything, and he really worked hard on it. And don't for a minute, if Simon's still listening to the show, don't for a minute, my man, think that I don't appreciate it and everything. But I got to admit, you know, by him not just all of a sudden not responding to any of the listeners and me and everybody else, you know, when he couldn't, you know, do it anymore, was totally unprofessional. And you know, I apologize to all the listeners that were in the challenge, especially to the ones that were ahead and everything else, and pretty much have been left out in the cold. You know, I anteed up and I give prizes away for every monthly winner and a year-end prize, and you know, we're lucky to have my man Andre and his team developing a new Billy C Challenge, automated Billy C Challenge, which should be ready in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be an automated system where you can go on the website and challenge, and we're going to pick right up. We changed little things around a little bit here and there, and we're going to pick it right up and start giving prizes away. I believe it's going to be ready for May, which today is the first day of May, but we will be giving a winner for the month of May. So, you know, we'll see what happens. So give a shout-out to Andre and his staff and tell them to hurry the hell up, man. Hurry the F up, Andre. Some fights this weekend. Daniel Ponce de Leon against Eduardo Lascano. That's going to be on Fox Deportes on Friday night. Then on Saturday, some guy named Mayweather is taking on Miguel Cotto. The co-main event is Saul Alvarez against Old Man Mosley. And, you know, if this doesn't shock you, ESPN Friday Night Fights at 10 p.m., no doubt, is putting on Demetrius Andrade against Rudy Cisneros as the main event in the middleweight division. Come on, man. Come on. You know, I mean, everybody's going to be watching Cotto Mayweather. I don't care how you're watching it, whether you're going to be buying it, whether you're going to be bootlegging it, whether you're going to be whatever. However you're watching it, you're going to be watching that, and you're going to be watching the undercard on Fight Now. You know, so I mean, you know, who's going to be watching Demetrius Andrade against Rudy Cisneros? Now, I'm not saying that's not a bad card, and if you were going to go there live, I would say go to Star Boxing. Go to our website and click one of the Star Boxing posters. Get yourself a ticket. It's at the beautiful Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino. Tell them you want the Billy C discount. Don't forget about the Billy C Bucks. And, you know, go to the fight and watch it live because you'll be able to see, as part of your price of admission, you'll get to see the Cotto Mayweather fight on a big screen TV at the Mohegan Sun. So, you know, that's a good deal. If you're going to go and watch it live and then watch the main event, which, you know, I would recommend, make sure you go to our website and get to Star Boxing to buy the tickets. Tell them Billy C sent you. The co-main event is Adi Azari, she's a local female fighter, and she's taken on one of the toughest female fighters in the sport today. And one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. And I'll tell you one thing. She is gorgeous outside the ring. When she's in the ring, she doesn't even look anything like she does outside the ring. And her name is Victoria Cisneros. And I don't believe there's any relation between her and Rudy, who's the main event. But That's going to be a good fight. I think Victoria's going to win that fight. I'm going to tell you right now, and I got into a long discussion with my man Scotty Krause yesterday afternoon, about the Cotto Mayweather fight. I know how Cotto can win the fight. And I hope that the game plan, and Scotty was like, you know what? I hope they do the game plan you suggest him, because he agrees with me. Here's all Cotto has to do, and I say all because it's going to be a lot harder, easier said than done, all right? But if I'm Miguel Cotto, this is what I do. I take the first 3, maybe even 4 rounds. As a matter of fact, first 4 rounds. And I rip a page out of the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Sebastian Zabik book. And if I'm Miguel Cotto, and providing they don't get a referee that does not permit infighting, which I think is a travesty in the sport of boxing today, that the majority of the referees don't allow it. Now, 2 guys stand out in my mind. Actually, 3. I think Eddie Cotton lets the guys fight inside pretty much, tells them to punch out. Vic Draculich has been criticized in many fights, but you know what? This is a guy that just tells them to fight out. And Steve Smoger. I mean, those 3 guys, in my opinion, are really the best opportunity for Miguel Cotto to be able to fight inside. And that's how you got to beat Mayweather. And if I'm Mayweather, which I know that he tries to get every single advantage he can, he's going to be paying off a different referee. He's going to request Joe Cortez or somebody that doesn't permit infighting, which Joe Cortez is, he's fair, but he's firm, but he's an idiot now. And they shouldn't even let him, referee the big fights anymore, because he's awful. And he's going to get somebody killed. He almost got Victor Ortiz killed because of his incompetence. But you watch, he'll be the guy. I don't even know. Did they announce the referees yet for the Cotto Mayweather fight, guys? We got the guys in the chat room. Maybe NASA head NASA man Dave Murphy will find out if they got that. But here's how Cotto beats Floyd. And yeah, I said it. So for all the Floyd Mayweather fans out there, this is how your boy's going to lose, if Cotto can do this. And Murphy's saying not yet. So we'll all have to wait and see who Mayweather's paying off to come on in and be his ref. But here's how Miguel Cotto will win the fight, if he can do this. First 4 rounds. Bully Floyd Mayweather against the ropes and into the corner. Now, here's the thing. Floyd Mayweather, great defensive fighter. We know his shoulder roll defense. We know it. And his counterpunching ability. We know it. And listen, I'm not going to Floyd's going to pick apart Cotto as he's trying to charge in. But Cotto's going to take a few shots. I don't think Floyd's going to hurt Cotto. And I think that Cotto should take advantage of his size advantage, which he's going to have. I think. He should anyway. And get inside, take a couple of those jabs, rough up Mayweather. Mayweather's going to have his shoulder. He's going to be holding his chin out. And he's going to be protecting that chin, because all he cares about is, his pretty face. And as soon as Cotto's got him against the ropes, he needs to start working the body nonstop, but not the stomach, because the referees are going to be calling low blows. They're going to give Mayweather every little break. You watch. Every single break will go to Mayweather. All right? Every break will go to Mayweather. And so Cotto's got to know this. If I'm Miguel Cotto and I'm working his corner or I'm helping him with a game plan, I tell him for the first 4 rounds, I want to see left hooks and right hooks, left hooks and right hooks, left hooks and right hooks. Nothing else but left hooks and right hooks to the side of Mayweather's body, to the rib cages, both sides for 4 rounds with as hard as he can punch. Body shots. That's going to slow Floyd down. That's going to make Floyd counterpunch just a little bit slower. Then from the 5th round on, launch an all-out attack. Leave it in the ring. If Miguel runs out of gas, so be it. Blame yourself for not being prepared, and Floyd will win. Work the body for the first 4. All-out punch and attack for the rest. He will catch Floyd. Floyd, my man George said it best. He's got more will than heart, and he doesn't want to be shown up. If he gets hurt, if he gets rocked, if he gets cut, if he gets punched square, Floyd is going to be unraveled a little bit, and he's going to try to prove that he's the better guy, and that is when Floyd becomes vulnerable. If when you think about what he did against Sugar Shane Mosley's failure to go back and be aggressive cost him that fight. And the first thing that Floyd did when he got hurt, and he admitted that he was rocked, the first thing he did was he wanted to come after Shane to show him that, either he wasn't hurt, that he's going to come back. And that was the only time I ever saw Floyd kind of lose his composure a little bit. And he really didn't even lose his composure, just a little. And that's when I always say, Floyd gets cut. If Floyd sustains a serious cut, all right, and I don't want to hear about the one time he did in the past. If he sustains a serious cut, if Cotto lands some shots inside, even a couple of low blows, I don't know, man. Floyd could become unraveled. That is also going to add to the downfall of Floyd, because Floyd doesn't listen to anyone. And although he's respectful and gives Roger all the credit in the world, I'm convinced that if push came to shove during a fight and there was something happened, Floyd gets dropped, Floyd gets cut, I'm telling you that he's going to become unraveled. Now, I can't, that's just my opinion, and it's just my theory, because it hasn't happened yet. I know all the Floyd lovers say it will never happen, Floyd's too good, blah, blah, blah. But Cotto's got a very good chance of winning this fight. Cotto's not a slouch fighter. Cotto's actually younger. Cotto's got some hand speed. Yes, he's open for the uppercut. Yes, we all know that Mayweather's going to be looking to land that shot. But let me tell you something. If Cotto can bully him up for the first 4 rounds and work that body, it's going to be a lot harder to throw that uppercut with your ribs pretty sore. It's going to be a lot harder to protect your face with your shoulder when you're keeping your hands down to protect your waist. I'm telling you, that's the only way that Cotto can win, and he needs to make this he needs to make this a Bernard Hopkins fight. I hate to say it. As much as I can't stand Bernard Hopkins, Miguel Cotto needs to fight like Bernard Hopkins to win this fight. Make it dirty. And I think Cotto can knock him out. I do. So, I guess Dave Murphy has given us hot news. He says Tony Weeks is going to be the referee for Mayweather and Cotto. I didn't see that. I didn't see that announced yesterday in Dan Raphael's column. It must be. I didn't see that at all. Now Tony Weeks, he's not known for letting people fight inside, is he? I don't. I can't remember a bad match that Tony Weeks did. It was a tweet. Dan Raphael, the big, I won't say it. He's a tweetheart. But, Tony Weeks, I don't know, man. What do you think, Tony Weeks? He's not a bad referee. He's pretty clear. That's what Murphy says. He's reasonable. You better let them fight inside. That's all I can say. Middleweight titleist. They call him a titleist. Now I believe he's got the WBA interim belt, or he's got a WBA belt in addition to Felix Sturm. But in the middleweight division, Gennady Golovkin is going to be fighting here in the States sometime this year. But he's fighting again next week in the Ukraine. And he is going to be putting his whatever version of his WBA middleweight world title on the line against a guy who I think is a joke. And no disrespect to Makoto Fukugami, but Fukugami may be he's rated number 1 in Japan. He's Japan's number 1 middleweight. But this guy's got a record of 19 wins, 6 losses with 10 knockouts. Now, I was just saying how I was given attaboys to the WBO for getting strict with who they allow their champions to defend their world titles against. And here's another example of why the WBA is so far down on my totem pole out of the top 10, because they're permitting this as a title defense. Now, granted, it's an interim belt or the secondary world title belt. I don't know, man. I've lost track of all these frickin' belts that these sanctioning bodies have. But nonetheless, Gennady Golovkin is a world title holder by definition, and he is being permitted to put that belt on the line against Fukugami. 19 wins, 6 losses, 10 knockouts. How do you put a fighter with 25 pro fights, with 6 of those fights as losses, in at a world title shot? And by the way, who talks more about boxing every day than me? I mean, listen, I'd be shocked if I know anyone else, whether they're well known or not. Honestly, I got to be honest when I tell you, I've never seen Fukugami fight. I've never heard the name. I don't know who he is. And, if I don't know who this guy is, if I've never heard his name, now, I've never been to Japan. I try to follow as much Japanese fight scene as I can. And, we always report on the fights that take place in Japan and everything else. I've never once heard this guy's name mentioned, ever. And I know that Japan's not known for middleweight, so that could very easily be why he's number one in Japan. But that's not my issue. My issue is how can the WBA let Gennady Golovkin make a sanctioned defense against Makoto Fukugami? And all I could say is I hope Fukugami wins. I hope he wins. Another big fight for this week is Marco Captain Huck against Ola Afolobi. And, I like that fight. I think it's going to be a good one. And, I think that Ola Afolobi is underrated, at least by some of the powers that be. He's a quality fighter. He's been in some tough fights. Yes, he's got 2 losses. He's 19 wins, 2 losses, and 3 draws. But I like the fight. I like Huck. You guys know I like Captain Huck. But I like that fight too, and I'm looking forward to that one. A couple other things I wanted to get out of the way here. There's a card that's taking place in Long Island, where I'm from, at the Platten Dukes Park Restaurant in Franklin Square. My man Bob Duffy is putting that one on May 17th in association with another promotional company called Winner Take All. And it's going to feature a lot of Long Island-based fighters, which... hey, man, I'm a Long Island guy. I'm from Long Island. I'm a Jets fan. I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Nets fan. And I'm an Islanders fan. All originally from Long Island, those teams. And so are all of these fighters, including Joe, the Irish Bomber Smith, Cletus, the Hebrew Hammer Selden, who we've seen him fight several times on Star Boxing cards, Ronson Frank, Tommy the Razor Ramon, and Mike Lefty Brooks. I love that nickname, Mike Lefty Brooks. Lefty. It's like a gangster name, right? The main event is going to be featuring junior welterweight Emmanuel Lartetti, Bookham Joe Lardy, who's 12-0 with a 12 he's 12-0 with a draw, I think. 7 knockouts. He's living in New York City. He's an African and Guyanian champ. He's taking on Boyd Henley, who's the U.S. Mid-American welterweight champion. What the hell is that? Oh, he's from Kansas City, I see. That says it all. Decent little card in Long Island. So if you're going to be in that area, give Bob a call and get yourself some tickets. Hey, check out our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com. Not only do we have the latest and biggest boxing news on the front page, but don't forget about checking out the section that says latest boxing news, because we have a whole bunch of other stuff there as well, including some Arizona news and notes from my man Don Smith, giving us a report on what's going on in Arizona, in the state of Arizona. And I got to give a hats off to Arizona because they're quietly becoming a fight state. Because we've seen some decent fights there over the last few months. And we got another one brewing with Antonio Margarito, who made it official yesterday that he is returning against Abel Perry. And it will be taking place in Arizona. So we'll be looking forward to all that stuff. And one last thing I wanted to mention before we get into the wrap-up here. Adil Anwar. He's a fighter that's going to be taking on Lenny Dawes for a vacant English title and in an elimination bout to fight for Ashley Theophane's British title on May 19th. And this guy, he's a young fighter. He's got a record of 16 wins and 1 loss. He's from Leeds. And this is a guy that says that, he wants to follow in the footsteps of Amir Khan. He says that Amir Khan, and I quote, he says, Amir Khan has been an inspiration to me, and I also consider him a friend. I speak to him on a regular basis, and on the night of the prize fighter, which Anwar appeared in, he said that Amir Khan picked up the phone and called me to show him that I'm supporting. He says, never say never, but my targets in the near future don't involve fighting my man Amir. He's one of my heroes alongside Hasim Hamed and Muhammad Ali. So, hey, you know what? Adil Anwar, a young fighter to keep an eye on, and you'll get to do that on May 19th. So keep your eyes open for that card, which is pretty damn good.
Wake up. It's time for the...
It's too early for a trivia question.
Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being sponsored by Star Boxing and their May 18th Times Union event, which was also going to be the main event on ESPN Friday Night Fights. Ray Serrano against Kareem Mayfield. What a great fight that's going to be. And you guys can get yourself some tickets right now by visiting our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the fight poster, and that'll take you right to where you can get some tickets. Or you can show up at the Halftime Bar and Grill next time we do a Friday Night Fights, which I'm thinking we might be up there this Friday for another fight, not Friday nights, but another one that's going to be televised. And we're going to give away some tickets for that. So check that one out. But if you can't wait for that, make sure you go up to starboxing.com and get yourself some tickets. Tell them Billy C sent you, and you want the Billy C discount. Now, we got a real tough question that we're asking now. Even the brainiacs like Dave Murphy and David Allen can't get it. And as a result, we put a really great prize on the line. It's the newest from Clay Moyle, Billy Miskey, the St. Paul Thunderbolt. What a great book this is. And it's going to be yours if you can get this trivia question right. Hey, by the way, all the books in the Billy C Book Club we highly recommend. And the best part about them is if you buy them through the Billy C Boxing Book Club, which you get to by visiting our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, you not only get special pricing, but you also get signed copies. So next time you're looking for a good book, go up to BillyCBoxing.com and buy one of those. When it's too early for a trivia question. When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? Now, I'm giving you guys a huge hint. I'm actually giving you a bigger hint today, all right, because I want to give this book away. It took place between 1920 and 1950, all right? I just knocked off another 10 years. It took place between 1920 and 1950. When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? Email me the correct answer if you know it, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. Good luck to everybody on that.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you need a lawyer, let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. Give them a call, 845-221-4099, 845-221-4099. Tell them Billy C sent you and that I'm going to pick up the consultation fee. 845-221-4099, Campanero and Tomkovich. On this day, May 1st, back in 2004, Concrete, Kelvin Davis KOs Ezra Sellers in the 8th round to win the vacant IBF World Cruiserweight title, and that fight took place on this day, May 1st in 2004, in Miami, Florida. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. I got one important thing to say after I tell you. Don't forget about our thumbs up, thumbs down. If you're listening or watching live, stick around. We do it immediately following the show. If not, you could catch it up on the website or under YouTube. But there is one real important thing I got to say. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, same bad time, same bad channel. There's only one channel, and it's the Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider right now and tell them you want the Fight Now channel, add to your sports channel lineup. For all the information about the channel, you can find it at their website, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.